Act like you know. Today's message is act like you know. What does that mean when I say act like you know? If you have a goal, if you have a dream, if you have a desire that you want to manifest, act in that knowing or act in that way. See, let's take me for example. I haven't made a video in a few months, a month and some change, right? And it was due to my own fears and my own shadow integration process that I was going through. And in that process, I had to face myself, and me showing up today is proof of me acting like I know. See, I'm in the process of moving in my gifts. I know I have the natural inclination of talking to people and speaking, communication, throat chakra energy, or just making and creating. So I'm acting in that knowing. For you, you may need to find the proof and the evidence that I had to find. I had to find evidence, okay, what am I naturally inclined to do? Oh, I've been making music since I was 13. I've been making videos since I was this age. Okay. Speaking. That's my proof. Your proof, maybe you didn't get that your potential shined on a certain way when you were younger. And that's valid. But don't let that be a reason why you don't do something now, you know? Because your past doesn't have to equate your direction or your future. Where you came from doesn't have to determine where you are going. See, sometimes you gotta just start. I'm hearing fake it till you make it. I'm hearing trial and error. Sometimes it takes messing up. Sometimes it takes falling. Sometimes it takes that. Or failing. Failing is evidence that you're trying. And I'd rather be someone who failed doing than not to never have done. It's like I'd rather have loved than lost and to never have loved at all. Is that same archetype of energy applying it to something different. Your courage or your wantingness to succeed has to be stronger than your fear. I've dealt with fear. Fear is awesome. And the reason I say that is because it can show you and reveal to you things. If you may be fearful of showing your gifts, maybe you have traumas that needs to be faced. All of it is a mechanism to point you eventually to your most highest reality. But it starts with you being aware and wanting this to change. Change can be, it's like growing pains, right? Change can hurt sometimes. Sometimes you gotta slip, fall back, and then you bob and weave. You get back, you get yourself back up. You go through the dark night of the soul, the dark nights of the soul. Personally, I've been in these four walls too long. Your soul is gonna know when enough is enough. I've been in hermit mode rather for too long. I've been not showing my potential for so long because of my own fears, my own things. Me making this video today is proof that you gotta just get that momentum. There's just action behind the things you say and them you believe in. This is a message for someone who needs to hear this, who needs to hear that your fear is valid, but it's not true. It's not. You should be, courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So feel the fear. Feel the fear. But your fear, your wanting to succeed has to be stronger than that fear. Period. I'm speaking to myself, but I'm speaking to you through myself via my own experience. someone who in maybe a similar position as me. Eventually, enough is enough. You just get tired of being tired, and something has to change. And shit just gotta, excuse my language, but things have to just start snowballing. Things gotta get moving. You know what I'm saying? And that action behind the things you know, right? You know, but you gotta know you know, and you have to act like you know. Move in that knowing. I'll do this out of love. I do this out of love. If I didn't love speaking, I wouldn't, or giving advice or helping people who may be going through something similar to me, that I could make their life a little bit easier or make their experience a little bit more smoother. Why not? That gives me joy. Active service. That's who I am. Big Virgo energy. Humbly. But that's the energy that I'm exuding, that I'm sharing here. For you, you may have to find what your soul's calling is. That's something that's your purpose, your reason of being, what you're here to do. So you don't feel so void. So you don't feel so directionless. So you don't feel so like there's no purpose to it. If you look at these albums, these are very, this XXXTentacion, Juice WRLD, and Lil Peep. If you don't know who those are, long story short, they're individuals who make songs that are very intimate and very heartfelt and much of cries for help. I identify a lot with this because it showed me that I'm not alone, and the energy that I got from that, I want to alchemize it, because there's a lot of dark themes, right? But alchemy of understanding, you know, that energy of understanding that darkness, understanding that void. Why did I feel so void? What made me feel that way? What happened in my life that made me feel that way? Okay, I wasn't getting nurtured when I was young as much as I may have needed. Okay, sometimes people were jealous of my natural inclinations when I was younger. Yeah, okay, some people started getting used to me being a people pleaser. I tried to grow. They didn't like that I was growing because where I was at was more beneficial to them. Okay, and you start to understand things from a bird's eye view when you start to break down why the darkness. Don't run from the fear, don't run from the darkness. You lean into it energetically and understand it, because when you do that, you are literally, that darkness need love too. It's like God, for example. Some people believe God is all love and light. I don't believe that. I believe God is the union of opposites. From the great Carl Jung, the union of opposites, the combination of dark and light, the combination of love and hate. If you just choose to understand and lean into the light without trying to understand the dark, you're literally losing a half of yourself. Everyone has a capacity for darkness. Everyone has a capacity for lower energy. I say all this to say, understand that darkness. Understand your own darkness. Understand your own shadow. Understand your own self, so you can, and your shadow is a part of why you may feel void, why you may feel stagnant, why you may feel purposeless, why you may feel that. And then you can understand why you don't do. Once you understand, you can learn more about, okay, what can I do to fix it? What can I do to integrate it? What can I do to release or combine my energies and become the union of opposites? Because Jesus, and I'm not a Christian, but Jesus is a representation of the union of opposites. He's a representation of mortality and divinity in one. He's the archetype of the self. And that's the journey, the great work that we're all doing, is finding out who we are. What is this self? So you can move in your knowing of yourself. Okay, what is myself? Myself is as above, so below. Myself is physical and spiritual. Myself is micro and macro. Myself is physical and non-physical. Okay, how can I make that practical and live my life accordingly? Okay, let me make a video talking about such things. Like, then that's me. You could make a video if you feel called to make videos. If you feel called to make art and draw, do that. But just creation. Start your creation process, because this 9 to 5 slavery is not for me. It's not. And maybe it may be for you. To each their own. I'm not judging anyone, but I'm also being aware what doesn't work for me and what I'm like oil and water with it. So, yeah, but I am also willing to understand that people have to survive and people have to do the things necessary to make their life comfortable and they satisfied and satiated. I digress on a lot of things, but everything I said has a purpose. Everything is a message for somebody. So much love. Maybe you got something from this. I hope so. See you next one. Peace.